Funny joke, other guy who isn't here because I'm filming this on my own. So, have you been looking for some new anime to get into? Me too. That's why I turned to a Facebook group called Attack on Titans Fans and threw out the question: what anime can be suggested for me to get into, as I seem to have gone through most of it? And I've had some really great suggestions. So I'm here today to tell you all about them and to give a big shout out to the people who recommended those to me. So, ikimashou, let's go. The first anime I'm going to recommend to you, because it was recommended to me by Karina Tallbrother, is Kuroko no Basket, or Kurokos Basketball for us Westerns. So initially I looked at this with some scepticism. I'm not really a sports person, as you can tell, but having said that, I watched this and thoroughly enjoyed it right from the very first episode. I was intrigued by the characters almost immediately. There was some mystery surrounding the main character, which is quite unusual really, because most animes tend to kick off the main character as like this person that sort of wows you into watching, but the mystery sort of it brought me in quite a lot. And the first person you actually meet isn't the main character. It's a guy called Kagami. Now he comes across as a bit of an arrogant jerk, a bit of a sort of bully, if you will, but he actually has many layers to him, which I found quite interesting. And to sum up his character without really giving away too much, he said something along the lines of, if you're going to face someone, make sure that they're stronger than you, not weaker than you, which I think really speaks to his personality. So from that, you're going to get a good feel of like what kind of character you're going to be dealing with there. In this kind of yin and yang situation that we've got going on between Kagami and the main character, Kuroko. Kuroko is a real mystery when you watch him, because at first you think, God, this guy sucks at basketball. How can he really do well in it at all? And how's this going to be a good show? But eventually you see some of his weaknesses become his strengths. Again, I won't give away too much about that. But overall, this is a pretty solid anime. I'm really looking forward to watching more. So this is going to be on my playlist for 2016. In summary, for Kurokos Basketball, I'm going to say that the theme song is a 2 out of 5. It's a bit irritating, I find personally. I think you sort of get used to it by episode 3. But it's still not one of those tunes you think, oh, this is a classic anime tune. But nevertheless, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard. So, you know, don't be put off just by that. And then we turn to the animation style, which I'm going to give a pretty good, what did I say? I've got a laptop in case you don't know I'm cheating. Oh yeah, I said a 3 out of 5 actually, yeah. And that sounds about right. 3 out of 5, because it's not the best anime, style, whatever. I've seen some pretty breathtaking, sort of picture perfect, real sharpness to some anime. And it just falls a little behind. Perhaps it relies on the entertainment value to sort of compensate for that. Again, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it does a pretty good job at that. And then finally, we have the ultimate question for any anime. The selling point for an anime for me is omoshiroi desu ka, which means, is it interesting? And there's a 5 out of 5 for that, because yes, it is definitely interesting. As I said before, for a sports orientated anime to really keep me hooked is quite a mean feat, and it's done it. I'm hooked, and yeah, bring on more. So let's move on to the next anime. Now, this anime proves that your protagonist doesn't have to be a high school student. We are, of course, talking about the anime Erased, and this come to us as a suggestion by Sydney Child. Is that correct? Yeah, Sydney Child on Facebook. So, wow, this I've watched 2 episodes of this. It's pretty dark so far. So just 2 episodes in, and I'm already thinking, wow, where are they going to take it from here? We've already had a murder, not going to tell you who. We've already had a child abduction, not going to tell you who, because I don't know who they are. I don't think they're that important to the main storyline. But yeah, just the fact that there's child abduction in an anime is pretty, like, you know, that's pretty new level stuff to me. I've never seen any anime where you're dealing with such dark topics. So I give the animators respect for that. Yeah, I mean, to me, to have this protagonist as a 29-year-old dude, as I say, who's struggling with his job, and he has this pretty unique ability to foresee dangers before they happen, so he can prevent deaths potentially. So in that sense, a guy who's kind of lost his purpose can find his purpose anew. It's not a new ability of his. I think it stems from his childhood, but he's just coming to realization as to the potential his ability really holds for him. As I say, I've only watched 2 episodes of this, but it's definitely a keeper for my playlist of 2016. I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. I think the animation is just breathtaking. Really crisp, really clear. All the colours are so vibrant. Yeah, it's definitely high quality stuff. Almost to the point of being studio quality, as in like a high production film. So yeah, really impressed with that, and I can't wait to see more. So, scores on the doors. I think that the theme music, it's not bad. I'd say it's a good 3 out of 5. I don't think I'm going to be listening to it on my playlist. You know, down the gym, listening to some good old anime music. No, it's not going to be on there. I mean, it's okay. It does the job. It fits the theme of the anime quite well, but it's just not something that I'm going to look back on and think, oh, that made the show. Now, when it comes to the animation style, this gets a 5 out of 5 for me. It's just so good. It's not just the actual drawings themselves. It's the way it's directed. It's so professional looking, and it's so... the camera just moves in ways that keeps you engaged constantly. It's not just a still camera in front of, you know, the action. It kind of, you know, it pans round. It does some pretty decent stuff there. So yeah, really well done to the guys who made this, and girls probably. And last but not least, it's the question: Omoshiroi desu ka? Hell yeah! This is a 5 out of 5 for me. Yeah, as I said before, the protagonist really sort of speaks to my level. I've sort of grown a bit bored of animes having this sort of typecast kind of... I don't even know if typecast is the right word, but they keep using the same sort of person for their protagonist, a schoolgirl or a schoolboy. It's just refreshing for this kind of setup to be here for me. So yeah, that's that, and we're going to move on to the final anime. It's so good. So just some quick mentions before I move on to my final anime that I highly recommend. Just want to give some mentions to the other guys and gals who gave me some recommendations on Facebook. So, we have Ricardo Lewis, and he recommended God Eaters. Didn't get a chance to look at that too much, although it did look pretty cool. Check that out if you want. We have also... Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. I'm really sorry about this. Mauricio Resinos Crop. And he, I presume... recommended LA Kill, so might go to check that one out soon. Just couldn't this time round. And lastly, we have Yajiv Britton, who recommended Akatsuki no Yona. I couldn't find that on Crunchyroll, so if you can think of any links or streaming services you've got for that, let me know. We'll get right on that. So, wow. we are now going to look at Parasite the Maxim. This anime really, really blew my mind. And they don't just call us Cynics of the Galaxy for nothing. Well, actually, we call ourselves Cynics of the Galaxy. No one else does yet. But the reason why is because I don't believe humanity is a special species as we like to make out we are. I think we're just animals with a slightly higher intellect than a lot. Do people have motives to do good things? Yeah, but it's probably for their own benefit at the end of the day. And you're probably thinking, wow, what an asshole. But then watch Parasite, because it's shows like Parasite the Maxim that really make you reflect on mankind. It just goes to show that really the creatures we look at to be parasitic are really not so different to us. They're just trying to survive. They're just trying to repopulate and get on with their lives. The things they do may seem disgusting and gross to us, but then again, the things we do may seem equally as gross and disgusting to them. But enough rambling on. Let's actually talk about the anime itself as a show and the qualities that it has. The main guy, yes, he's a schoolboy. Shinji Izumi. I would say he's a typical kind of teenager with the usual angst that most teenagers have. I guess what makes this guy special is that he's pretty brave. He's a good guy. Although he's quite weedy and nerdy, he means well and he just wants the best for everyone, really. And in that, he's quite selfless. I don't want to sort of contradict myself and sort of say that he's selfless without a sort of benefit for himself by being so. But I would say the most interesting thing about this character is the struggle that he has when he becomes infected by the parasite from another world. And you really see him struggle to retain his humanity while this thing is overtaking his body and essentially changing who he is. You see some really intense battles between mankind and the parasites, which, by the way, they look amazing. Really, when you hear the word parasite, you might think about this organism that's within you and doesn't really surface. Oh no, these parasites, they fuck your hand up something chronic. We're talking like, kind of like with an eyeball at the end and some weird razors coming out of his fingers and stuff like that. And that's just the guy who had his hand infected. When you get the parasites who have their entire bodies taken over by a parasite, their head starts splitting open with multiple razors shooting out here and there. Watch this anime because there are tons of really cool kind of enemies to look forward to. Not all of them last very long. I mean, what do you expect? It's only one series. They can only fit so many bad guys into there. Talking of bad guys, here's one to look out for. Uragami. I'm not going to tell you too much about him, but wow, oh fucking wow. When you see him, the first initial feeling you get is just creepiness. This guy has just a real mean look to him. And he's not all what you think he might be when he's introduced in a later episode. But wow, is he a really kind of... He's a guy who you think, want to watch out for him, he's going to be trouble. And yeah, the main boss at the end is just one of the coolest looking bosses, if you can call them that I have seen in any anime ever. He's just so menacing looking, and you really do feel that there's no way to beat him. Of course, in the end, he's probably going to be beaten. Every enemy has his weakness. I won't tell you how that happens, or even if it does happen, and if it ends well for our main guy, Shinji, or Shinichi. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. I think the Japanese just go Shinji because it's quicker. Anyway, let's move on to some stats for this. Now, I'm going to be pretty high on my ratings here because, as you can probably tell, this has been my favourite anime potentially of all time so far. If you can think of any better, please leave a comment down below. But anyway, let's do some stats on this. So, I would say that the theme tune, it's really odd. It's kind of quirky and it's very much a throwback for me to my later teen years when Screamo was very much a sought after music genre to get into. So that kind of had some nostalgia effect for me. I think the band's called Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Not sure why they chose that name from that terrible Johnny Depp film, but yeah, the song that they do for it, it's really catchy. As annoying as you might find the genre of Screamo, the more you listen to it, the more you end up just sort of like bobbing your head as the intro rolls out. So for me, I'm actually going to give that a 5 because it's done the job that a theme tune is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you remember it from the second you hear the very first beat of the song. You know, it's supposed to think, oh yeah, that's the anime, that's Parasite, when you hear that song. So good job on that. And of course the ending theme song, Daiichi someone, I can't, his last name escapes me, but wow, is that a powerful song. I don't know what it says entirely. My Japanese is pretty rusty, but it's really moving. And for a song in a language I don't really understand too much of to move me, is quite impressive. So, onto the anime style, the animation style, sorry. Now, being biased towards this show, I really do want to give it a 5. However, I think I should be fair and give it a 4. Because it's not groundbreaking. It's just really good. Yeah, it's just pretty... It's run-of-the-mill anime, you know. I find all of it impressive. Just some more than others. And this was just kind of, you know, just above average for me. It did a good job. The colours were really great. Really sharp. And the transition between movements of the actual animation, pretty flawless to me. They were dealing with some real high frame rate of movement, especially from the parasites. So good job there. And lastly, the question, omoshiroi desu ka? Yes, 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 1,000 times yes. What could be more interesting than an alien that comes to Earth that takes over the human body and gives you powers, but basically kills you as a human being? Yeah, it's just to me that's, you know, an end of the world type situation where humanity's looking like it's going down the shitter. To me, that's an interesting storyline for me. I'm very much into my dystopian kind of themes when it comes to animes or films in general. My favourite Japanese film being Battle Royale. Very much like, you know, everything's going to shit. What are we going to do about this? Strongest comes out on top type deal. So, yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Parasite. Please watch it if you haven't already. And, yeah, that wraps it up. So, thanks once again to the people on Facebook who recommended those animes to me. Apart from Parasite, I discovered that on my own. And to Crunchyroll also, I've got to thank them because without Crunchyroll I wouldn't be able to watch them, and who would really without illegally streaming, which you shouldn't do. So yeah, let's cap this off with thanks for watching, and yeah, stick around. Hopefully we can do some more anime reviews soon. If not, we'll do something more interesting and more engaging for our lovely audience. So sayonara, mata ne, ja mata. Goodbye.